A warm welcome to the PlayPan Podcast. Podcast for good, fostering a culture of giving, one story at a time. I'm Kenneth Chu, your host for this journey. We'll be diving into the heartening stories that underscore how PlayPan cultivates a culture of giving. Together, we are redefining how we give back to society, making a difference through the power of play. Welcome, Chris, to PlayPan Podcast. Very happy to have you. Maybe you can do a short introduction about yourself. Where are you from? What were you doing? What's your background like? And how do you get involved with PlayPan?
Sure. Wow. So my name is Chris Milliken, and I'm the founder of PengWine. It's a wine brand produced in Chile, mostly, and exported here to Southeast Asia. I'm a chef by trade from the United States, traveled all over the United States, chefing mostly privately, cooked for some amazing people, some amazing families. And towards the end of the 1990s, met a girl in the United States, and we were doing this long-distance relationship, and she was offered a job in the country of Chile. And my only concern was, do they have running water and do they have electricity? She said they had both those things, so I thought I'd give it a go. So I followed her down to Chile, and we ended up getting married after just a couple of years, and then traveled to Australia and lived in Australia studying winemaking, and ended up going back to Chile and saying, okay, I'm ready to make some wine, and I want to take a product to market, but I don't want to be intimidating. I don't want that to issue a product that gets people uncomfortable. I want it to be the exact opposite of that. I want it to be fun. I want it to be creative, and I want people to relax and just enjoy good wine. So started that, and that was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I've been living here in Singapore for 15 years and started my import company with the help of somebody I'd met within 2 months of arriving into Singapore. Met a gentleman that was amazing in just saying, I'll take you under my wing, show you how to get things done. I'm forever grateful for this man to have given me all the know-hows in order to achieve what I needed to achieve. And within 6 months of her living here in Singapore, wine was on its way, and the rest is kind of history. We've been moving our product throughout Southeast Asia and mostly focused on high-end restaurants and hotels. It's been really good. So how PlayPan? Wow, it's a great question. Wine is about growing communities and networking things, and I have that product. I have that one product that people want, and we can share it. And bringing people together is what it's all about. So through doing that, and I have a level of interest in Web3, blockchain, etc. We've been sponsoring some events. So an introduction came through those channels and said, you really need to go and talk to these people at PlayPan and get to know the Peace Center.
Wow.
And I'm like, Peace Center? That's where I used to do all my printing. When I first got here, I was doing my banners, my business cards.
All right.
Everything was here. And so I walked in and it was empty. There was nothing here. And so met with Yvonne and Gary, and they were showing me around and telling me their ideas. And I was like, yeah, okay. I've not heard of any of these types of concepts happening in Singapore before. Community coming together, building things. It sounded really good. And then they showed me the upstairs, which was their haunted house. And
it was a Halloween, right?
Yeah, Halloween. And I love Halloween. If anything, the one thing I look out for is how do we incorporate ourselves with Halloween parties and festivals and such. And they came in and said, this is what we're doing. And I looked at my team, which is very small right now as we're growing back out of the COVID era, and I can't do this to them. I cannot ask them to do more than I'm already asking them to do. And this would really require a different setup, a different divergence of focus. And so I said, no, cannot do it. And Yvonne wrote me again and said, we have the perfect space for you. You really need to come see it and have another look. So I did. And I'm like, if I had a massive team and I had everybody there, it would be a no-brainer. It would just simply wouldn't even have to think about it. And then proposed it to my staff and said, hey guys, would you want to do this? And they said, yes, they really wanted to do it. I was like, you realize we have to work a little bit more. It's going to be a shift in everything we do. And they agreed. So we went for it, and no looking back. One of the best moves I would say I've done under the umbrella of PengWine. It's been really a fun experience, eye-opening experience, great for the brand, great for community, which is what wine is about.
Yep.
So I guess you could say it's rekindled my entrepreneurial spirit as well, because to see what's happening around here and all the different entrepreneurs coming together, and being an entrepreneur can be a very lonely path.
Yep.
There's only one person that has your dream. Nobody else has that same exact dream. You can hire people to support you, but they're never going to understand that one defining dream that's within the leader of that entrepreneurial spirit. And so you see a lot of that here, and you need a lot. Being surrounded by that, you get encouragement, and you encourage others. And so again, it comes back to the spirit of PlayPan has just been something you can't describe in words, something you have to experience.
Yeah, I feel that the first time when I came here, and during the handing of keys over, right, I see a lot of people came. There was a lot of energy. It was fun. And knowing Gary and Yvonne, especially Yvonne, I knew her for almost coming 10 years. And a lot of things that she's been doing is about giving back. If she can incorporate fun, she would definitely incorporate fun. But just when you mentioned about when you came in, right, because I know of PengWine for a while in most of the Web3 events, I will see you guys have a booth, have a table over there to really share, and also the NFT on it. Maybe you can talk about where do you get the idea of having your NFT onto the wine, and is that something that make a difference between you and other wine companies?
Sure. So let's go back to 2016. I saw that the industry, in my opinion, needed a solution to how wine is marketed, branded, followed, tracked, traced, engaged with community, engaged with customer. And in looking for a solution, I came across blockchain. And once I saw what it could do, I was like, yes, this is the missing link. And I worked with a couple of government agencies, Singapore Manufacturing Federation, some other Singaporean entities that were curious about this space and looking for people to help them understand it and use cases and such. And so I had a lot of support there in experimenting with new platforms and this thing called blockchain. What does it do? And as an American living in Singapore, trying to do blockchain and understanding what is Ethereum, what are these cryptos? Oh my God, it was a little overwhelming. But we managed to do it, and we figured out a way to track and trace the wines. And basically, in essence, what we did was we made each of our bottles NFTs before NFTs were a thing.
Yes.
Not for art, but simply for the practicality of tracking and tracing and putting things individually on a blockchain. And that was really cool. But impractical, because it was really expensive at the time. Still is a little bit expensive. It's coming down, though, a lot. And the ability to track and trace, we were doing it through restaurants, and when COVID hit and restaurants closed, another reason for us to put this on the back burner. But then came in NFTs as art. And that revolutionized something in me too, to say, a whole different use case for blockchain that I had never thought of. And okay, whether it's pictures of punks or apes or cats or whatever, I was just more curious about the fundamentals of how is this working? How are people sharing this content? And what really blew my mind was probably the app Discord. Strangers coming together to share ideas around art, right? What's the art worth? That's all relative or irrelative. It kind of didn't matter. What really mattered was that people were coming together without knowing what you look like, without knowing your gender, without knowing what language you speak. Didn't matter. People felt comfortable sharing their ideas and building on a space. Now, at the same time, of course, that introduced a whole dark web of people doing things and not using the same technology in the best of ways.
For good, right?
Exactly. But you learn quickly. It's hard. You learn the lessons hard, but you also learn quickly. Trust is a big thing in this space, which kind of defeated the whole purpose of blockchain being transparent and whatnot. And it kind of lost a little bit of that in different ways. But I think that the NFT movement changed how blockchain is used and built a whole new infrastructure that no one saw coming. And so for me with wine, what a great way for people to shill their products or be able to market themselves, put your idea, put your label out there on a bottle of wine. Let us help you and show it off your way, because what are you going to do with that product?
Correct.
You're going to build your community. You're going to engage. And that is exactly back to what wine is for. Sharing, building, exploring. And when you start putting your NFT on it, it also becomes art.
Yep.
And it takes a little bit of that pressure of where's it come from? How is it
People
made?
get curious, right?
Yeah. It starts the conversation in a different way and less aggressive, I would say, too.
And more subtle, not like really hard selling you, because over a glass of wine, you can talk about it, and the NFT art is there, you get to see it, and that's where the conversation starts going, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it keeps it fun, keeps it engaging. And then you start a collection, right? Maybe you're collecting bottles because of the art. Maybe you're collecting it because of the wine, or maybe you're just collecting it because of the memories that you had from that experience.
And when you talk about like collecting the bottles, right? Sometimes, because I drink wine, I like to drink. So sometimes when you see very special type of bottles, different design, it tends to keep it, and it becomes like an interior design. But when you say that if there's a added value in terms of the NFT art, it becomes like a gallery, right? Of bottles with having the art on it, and it makes more sense to make it into interior design. It's a form of art, back to art.
Absolutely. I'm surprised how many people buy the bottles because they like the label. Wine has always been one of those things that people usually are attracted to because of the label. But it really does surprise me how many people got my side. I went that one. I recognize it. You know, we have the only branded Bored Ape on any blockchain. And people go, I want that one. I don't care what the wine tastes like inside. For them, it's not about that. It really is about the art.
Association back to Bored Apes.
Yep, absolutely. Or just about recognizing that this represents my community, or this represents what I believe in, and whether that's, you know, semi-futuristic or not, but it's culture. And you're supporting my culture. And, you know, let's look at where the generations are going. It is really about that and feeling that connectivity.
Yeah, and association, right? Like you talk about Bored Ape had created a community, and I remember you shared with us offline that you own a lot of NFT, and you want to really one by one to really showcase them, to let people know about the art and I see that you are combining both your passion. Like you say you love wine, but you love blockchain, and now you're combining these two together. And now over here at PlayPan, you are creating something. So what do you hope to, in the way in contributing your love for blockchain and for wine onto PlayPan?
Yeah, you know, again, this is an opportunity I never saw sitting in front of me. And we've been building our brand in Singapore, especially for 15 years. Concerts, events, charity events, golf events. We were the #1 longest sponsor of the Singapore Slingers basketball team, because, again, community, very important to me. And now here we are, we have a pop-up. We have a consumer-facing platform in which to engage with people. And even though it's only busy on weekends, the people that go past and say, I know PengWine, I've heard of PengWine, I've seen PengWine, it's like, we did something right. We had impact. And I missed out on leveraging that so long without having a consumer.
Because the feedback is good, right?
Yeah.
Like hearing from your consumers.
It's incredibly positive. And, I'll come up and buy a bottle, or, you know, I bought a bottle just because I remember hanging out with you at Garden Beats or some of these other festivals. And like, yes, that is what community is about. So I've been missing that element of community build that who knew was going to come through PlayPan and Peace Center.
Yeah, because you never thought of having a shop front, because frankly speaking, in Singapore, it's crazy to have a shop front, rental, and all that.
Exactly.
Now coming here to do something for good, I think there's a lot of meaning, right? Because this is a social experiment that both Gary and Yvonne just came to do it together, very spontaneous, reach out to people, and the community that we have built is crazy.
Yep. They work their off.
Right.
They work so hard with their hearts about creating something and giving back to a community. It's not just words. It is their actions. Their actions are so vibrant. You know, of course, and it's hard, right? Because you're working without a structure that people are used to.
Yeah.
It's innate that people want to take advantage of situations. Always going to have that. And so protecting themselves from people who just want to take advantage of situations, it can be very challenging. but the reward, I hope that they're feeling truly rewarded in how much effort that they've been given. They give up so much of their time, so much of their guidance. But if they're anything like me, what I'm feeling from this is new people coming into the space, how can I help you? And really learning what it's like to feel the reward of helping others. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's over here is to fostering the culture of giving, right? So I think this is what is happening now. And because we now it's in December that we're doing this recording, but in end of January, right, it's going to be demolished eventually. Peace Center. So what is PlayPan to you personally?
It's a movement. It's an opportunity. It is hope. It is. I would like to think that this is just the first stage of being able to demonstrate how a collective and collectives can come together and do this again. And whether or not it's in a building that's coming down or not, what's the runway, what's the time, lessons learned. We all are probably going to need a break after this, but at the same time, it's going to be a very sad day when we all have to go our different ways, and hopefully there's that opportunity to come back. And I would like to think that PlayPan really does provide that incubator space where people know it and say, I need help. I can't do this on my own. Where can I find support? And I'd like to think that that's kind of where PlayPan is going forward and saying, okay, community works together to get things done. If you don't have that community spirit, though, you don't belong here. That's all I can say.
I like the part where you talk about like people coming together and incubator, because there are some people who want to do good, right? But they do not know whether this idea will work or not work. They have PlayPan to really start off like a Kickstarter, right? To kickstart, because there's community, and we have the people here that is able to help out. Like if I need a screwdriver, I will go to my neighbor, or I need a drink, I will come to you. So the neighborhood kind of like what we call the kampong spirit in Singapore.
It is.
It's what you experience, right?
I walk into the building after, we did a big party here a few nights ago, and I came in the next morning and we invited every person from every collective to come up and join us, just be there and share in this. And so not everybody gets a chance to rub shoulders with everybody else because we've all got our different things going on. But the next morning to walk in here and be greeted by every person was just like, it works. There's something happening here. There is a magic happening here. And that was just like, okay, I'll do this again.
And I remember you were saying that you've been in Singapore 15 years? More than 15 years?
Correct.
So you have not experienced something that you have experienced at PlayPan. Could you share a bit more on that?
Even if I had a pop-up somewhere, it wouldn't have been like this. It wouldn't have had the same, I imagine it wouldn't have had the same, if I had a storefront somewhere in Chinatown and people could just come by and it was a shop house, cool, maybe you get to know the neighborhood. But here you get the neighborhood as well. You get people walking down the hill from Sophia and just, welcome to the neighborhood. So that's also very nice, where they're walking their dogs through the mall or anything. But the way that PlayPan has been able to bring the spirit of this together has just been...
What is that type of spirit? Is it the love for giving, or is it something else that you discover? Is it because the two co-founders, Gary and Yvonne, both of them are really, they're having the heart of gold, really want to build this, they took up this challenge, they jump on board, everybody see that vision, people will all just collectively, even myself, my team, behind the scene and all that, they're all coming in to contribute into this. So what is that magic? Will you be able to describe it, or have you felt it? Because you are one of the, I would say, the first few that really jump into it and really do it a lot, much more, contribute much more.
I think a couple of things. I think the collectives, seeing a brand come in, gave them more confidence too in what they're doing. Like, oh, that must be in the right space. If it's good enough for them and they're able to come in here, then it gave more encouragement. So encouragement would be one thing. Creativity. Something that I don't think is fostered enough in the society here is definitely, there's an awareness factor here now of these kids coming together and saying, I have an idea. And it could be random. And these aren't kids that you would expect to be hardworking and necessarily. There's just something surprising underneath each of these personalities that's in this space. And so the creativity part is, and it can be a random idea. I mean, not every idea is great, right? I'll admit, even my ideas, half of them, they're just ideas. But you sit there and you talk and until you get to the core of what are these kids about? What do they really want to do? What kind of support do they really need? And when you give them that opportunity to grow and inspire other people, some of them can run with it. It's not for everybody. Some people don't know what to do with that much opportunity, but those that do have that opportunity for growth here. And I've had people come we're on the 3rd floor and we now have a meditation workout space and a dance studio, and people who just see this, the artwork, the graffiti on the 3rd floor is, you walk up there like, where? Yeah.
You cannot really see it in any part of Singapore.
Nowhere. And to watch them do it. One girl came in a few days ago and just set her backpack down, and I could hear the sound of spray paint that's inside. And I went over, I said, what are you doing? She immediately looked like, oh no. So, and there was that level of, I intentionally wanted to put that little bit of pushback in. Graffiti is seen as street art and something you shouldn't be doing and whatnot. But I kind of did that in the spirit of go for it. All right, now let it rip. Get those cans out there and just do it. And she smiled the whole time. And I mean, she was like standing on one foot and balancing in crazy positions as she's just spraying this and doing that. There was no drawing. There was she just went for it.
Expressing, right?
Right. And it was so cool. And my guess is that she has incredibly big amounts of OCD in her regular life. But this gave her an opportunity to let it out and spray. When you spray paint something, you're not getting direct lines. You got to let some of that go. So I think it was a great opportunity for her to express herself and just do something cool. To the point where I said, come back next week and I'll buy all your paint if you spray paint another wall. Right?
Wow, because when you say that, right, I think this is something that is lacking in Singapore context. Everybody is so serious, so disciplined. There's no place to really have that output, to really drive that creativity, because as we know, we are more of a very serious, more by the book, by law and all that stuff. But when over here, it's really like a playground. Everybody have their own place to play, and you have the place to really draw up something that maybe you have been drawing it in your mind, but you do not have the opportunity to exhibit. Like for your case, like having a shop front might be a no-no because your business are now running online and you are running pop-up events and all that stuff. You never thought of a shop front. But having a shop front, you open up another side of view or another opportunity for the business that you can connect with the audience or people who have known PengWine for a while. They haven't got the chance to really group together at a permanent place, right? And so this is where I think PlayPan, I can hear how much it means to you, and also seeing the activities around the mall, the Peace Center, which is soon to be demolished. I think this is something that the memories are all built here. Like you can always, like maybe 5 years down the road, you can always talk about this little girl that is doing all this thing that is fascinating and is in your memory.
Absolutely. And my team has come together with so many creative ideas, and we've moved on most of them. Our parties are called Peace Out, with a different theme to each one. And we have the PengWine Playground is what we named our pop-up space. And when we do our events, we took what we use as an office space and we turn it into a playroom, a little putting mat for golf, Street Fighter games, Nintendo, cornhole, all these different games. But until you see people using it, you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People really want this.
And you were talking about the putting pad, right?
Yep.
Like you were expecting the guys would be playing with it and you were saying?
Oh, women. It's the women that go up and say, okay, there's balls there's a putter, I can go hit them, and when are they going to have that opportunity to just give it a try?
Yeah.
And they feel safe in doing it and comfortable in doing it and have fun doing it. And for me, it's just been the best feeling. So if we ever do have this permanent space, incorporating that fun element has to happen. And like I said, this has been something that only through experience can you change your imagination. And that's exactly what's happened.
Wow. I think like PlayPan really had, because how long have you been here? Since
Since early October.
Early October, okay. So about 2 months and coming on the 3rd month. So what do you see PlayPan moving forward, or what we call the PlayPan 2.0? Because Peace Center will soon be demolished by the end of January. It'll be gone. So what do you see PlayPan moving forward?
Well, I hope it's not Control-Alt-Delete when this is done. I hope it's just repeat, ideally, and finding the places. I mean, they've got my support as far as, when you look at malls or you look at spaces, you have your anchor stores. And I think those anchors, I would be very happy and proud to say that I'm an anchor of the next version of this coming out. And I think that's what's being developed here, finding out what works, duplicating the stuff that worked, learning from the stuff that didn't. And anytime you're going to go at this in a different way, it's going to be a whole new monster. It's going to be a whole new beast. But if the passion is there and the concept and values are strong, which they are, I think PlayPan 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, I think they all have a very good chance of creating some success. And success doesn't have to look like the best balance sheet or the best P&L. Success can be measured by community spirit and impact. And that's what's happening here. It is impact. It's coming in every day and people saying hi to each other who would have never come into contact with each other ever before, whether it's F&B, retail, wine, wellness,
apparels, all coming together.
All just comes together. And I'm sure if you walk into Ion, all the store owners and all the store people, they're not coming together to collaborate and work on getting things done.
Right?
Yeah, they're all coming into work, they're clocking their cards, they're selling their products, and they leave. This is not that. This is anything but that. And that's what makes it very special.
Wow. Thank you for sharing all that. I think the audience will be able to have that vision, what is moving forward. And definitely we will want to hear from the co-founders, what were their plans moving forward. So once again, thanks, Chris, for this. And before we wrap up, right, would you be able to deliver a message to the audience? And what do you have for the audience by looking at this camera, right? To say to them what you want to say to them.
Be creative, stay creative, and let your dreams guide you. Let your dreams really push you forward. For PengWine, can't say for sure what's coming. We have lots of ideas now. We've been inspired in a very different direction. The dream has been shifted to finding ways that we can be more impactful, and persistence and perseverance cannot be undersold. It's not always easy to pick yourself up and keep going, but the people around here with the support that they've had and the dream that PlayPan has instilled in people, it can be done.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you once again.
Really appreciate it.
And thank you for coming on to PlayPan Podcast, where we want to inspire more people about doing good, play for good, even doing a podcast for good. So once again, thank you very much. And everyone, we shall see you guys in the next episode. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Do join us on our social media. It's available in LinkedIn, IG, TikTok. Now, thanks to our team here, now we will even have our own YouTube and Spotify. So please do join us and help spread the word on how we can come together, play for good, and reimagine giving.